The rise of the Naboo politician Sheev Palpatine to the rank of Supreme Chancellor had led to the start of a war between the Republic and the Confederacy of Independent systems. With the amount of Jedi and clone troopers in battle, a deal had been struck between Palpatine and the Jedi to provide them with Republic officers. One such officer was Wilhuff Tarkin, also Governor of Eriadu, and he soon began serving under Jedi Master Even Piell. Upon one mission to secure the valuable Nexus route coordinates, Piell, Tarkin and a group of clones had been captured to the Separatist planet of Lola Sayu, and the Jedi of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano mounted a rescue. A group of Anoobas led by Commandant Osi Sobeck fatally wounded Master Piell, and just before they reached the coordinates from which they could be collected, Tarkin was attacked by Sobeck. Despite initially wounding the warden, it appeared as if Tarkin was about to meet his death in the lava base, when Ahsoka arrived to stab the Commandant in the back. Tarkin continued to rise through the ranks of Palpatine's subsequent empire, ruling the galaxy through fear, until his demise aboard the Death Star battle station that he had taken great pride in. But what if Ahsoka had never saved Tarkin? What would happen in his absence? As you're going to discover, his premature death could have saved more lives than just those on Alderaan. As the Jedi and surviving clone troopers fought the droids and Anoobas, Tarkin had found himself in a duel with Sobeck, who had ambushed him from a single droid aerial platform. Fives manages to knock the Findian off of his vehicle, and Tarkin fired at his fallen body before he could get up. Sobeck is not fatally hit by the bolts, and running at Tarkin, he picks him up in the air by his throat and threw him into the lava, just before the Jedi could arrive to kill the Commandant. Anakin and Obi-Wan lift the burnt corpse of Tarkin, and the clones take him to their gunship as the Jedi escape the area. Returning to Coruscant, the Jedi are saddened by the loss of Master Piell and the half of the Nexus route coordinates kept by Tarkin, so Anakin has to explain the situation to Palpatine. As the Jedi Knight enters the office of his lifelong mentor, Palpatine greets him in the usual amicable manner, and together they mourn the loss of Tarkin. Both admired his pursuit of action to solve problems unlike the Jedi, and the lack of the Nexus route coordinates had hurt the chances of the Republic to mount a surprise attack on the Separatists. After Anakin had given his debrief of the mission and left his office, Palpatine was even more furious at the Jedi for their failure to protect Tarkin. The Sith Lord had needed the coordinates for Dooku or Grievous to strike on Coruscant, and now he needed another option. The death of Tarkin had also scuppered his plans for the construction of the Death Star after his planned fall of the Jedi, but he created a special weapons division in the Strategic Advisory Cell, led by Commander Krennic. With the death of Tarkin, Palpatine needed a new representative to lead the Republic military, and believing that Anakin had demonstrated his loyalty, appoint him to serve as a link between the Republic and the Jedi. The Council does not approve of the appointment, but is forced to accept it due to the powers of the Senate, and his loyalty to the Jedi would soon be tested to their fullest. The Jedi Temple had suffered one of its most damaging moments, as its hangar had been bombed, and Anakin had been on the planet of Kato in Moidia. Called back to Coruscant on the orders of both the Council and Palpatine, the Chancellor had been frustrated to discover that Anakin had not applied the Republic policy of transferring a non-Jedi prisoner into Republic custody, and Letter Termund had since been kept in the temple. The Jedi Knight entered into a cell alongside Ahsoka, as he had sensed suspicions in the Force that the request for Termund to see his Padawan alone was not as innocent as it seemed, and he had turned out to be correct. The suspect was Force choked in front of them, and Anakin used his Force senses to feel a Force sensitive had just left the area. The temple's alarms begin to go off as the Council locks down every available exit, and Ahsoka and Anakin trap a hooded figure in the temple courtyard. As Master Sanube looked on with his Jedi initiates, the three Jedi battled across the complex until Anakin used the Force to rip the hood off of the assailant and reveal Barriss Offee. There was no escape for the Jedi, who had tried to send a message to the Jedi for their role in this political war. The trial of Barriss Offee shook the Jedi Order, and the protests outside of the temple made them consider pulling out of the war, so Yoda talks to Palpatine. The Chancellor is shocked to hear the Jedi's admission, but due to several agreements put in place throughout the war, and Anakin's ties to the Republic, nothing could be done until the Separatists had been defeated. Reluctantly, Yoda trudges back to the temple, but not before Ahsoka is made a Jedi Knight and Anakin have been promoted to the rank of Master. If they were to continue the war, they will need to find a way to subdue the Sith. That is it for part 1 of What If Ahsoka Never Saved Tarkin. If you'd like to see a part 2 soon, please like this video, turn on the notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.